We're very excited to be here. If we could get folks' attention a little bit. We're very excited to be here to announce the grand opening of this building that has been many years and is you know, among the great labors of love, I think, for both of these organizations, or all the organizations that have been involved. I always say sort of about projects like this, it's the ones that are the hardest that you end up liking the most in the end, and I think this is going to be one of those truly special communities and buildings that people look back on and say, it was really hard, but boy, was it worth the effort. So we're here to celebrate the opening of the ARC Mercy Community here at 1500 Page. This is a building that has gone through many twists and turns over the years and started in one direction and has come back around to this wonderful use that is here today. There'll be a group of speakers. We'll try and move through this relatively quickly. But the first among them is our number one houser-in-chief, who really needs no introduction because he's done so many of these. But for those of you that don't know, a mayor who's probably done more for affordable housing than any mayor that this town has ever seen, and probably most mayors in the history of our country, and that is Mayor Edwin Lee.
You're all very good, very good. Well, if I had a role in pre-planning this event, I would have said ice cream for everyone. Because this is how I celebrate another milestone in our entire city's theme, that we are a city for everyone. And I mean everyone when I talk about this particular site. Because it's far and few between that we have a site where Mercy and ARC can work together with us at our Department of Housing. This project's been through Doug, it's been through Olson, it's been through, now it's at Kate, but it was also Ted Deansfree as well. Took a long time because when we're trying to help the most needy, people with disabilities try to survive in the city, yes, it's going to take a long time. Yes, it's very expensive. And yes, there's not enough units to satisfy all of us. So let's take the opportunity to celebrate this milestone in our housing stock that we have now 16 additional units for people with disabilities. That's going to be added to one other site, and we're working on 3 other sites where maybe mixed income and mixed uses can also afford more units for people who are challenged in so many ways, and yet the affordability crisis and the housing crisis in our city add more barriers to it. I'm very proud of everybody who's worked to put this building together, this site together. It is at the heart of where people want to live, Page, Haight. This is a great place for it to happen in the center of our city. And I want to say I'm very proud of all the entities because it takes an entire team to place people in the right place. And so everybody stepped up. Again, Mercy and ARC, thank you for your contributions. I will say this, you know, I'm asking for more partnerships in the city because we are losing partnerships on the federal level. This is the last federal 811 program there is that was targeted for people with disabilities. It's a sad part. It's a sad day in our federal, but we're celebrating in San Francisco because we know we have a way forward. Federal are abandoning these projects. We are enhancing our ability to do better locally. We'll need the state to help us with our future, and they just signed a barrage of housing bills that I think will really help us. There's other partners. Supervisor London Breed, she's not here right now, but she's a great champion for this. And it's right there at the start, making sure this is part of our housing plans. I want to say thank you again to the design team. I know ARC and Mercy had a brilliant design team that had to do with Santos Prescott Associates as designers of this housing, and along with contractors. Roberts Obayashi Corporation has been a steady contractor to help do a lot of affordable housing. Of course, Kate Hartley's group, Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, were there. It shouldn't surprise you, and it shouldn't surprise you that my bank, since I have grown up to own a bank account in my life, has been the Bank of America, and they stepped up yet again. Bank of America Again, they were there with me on other housing sites of recent, and they stepped up on this as well to do all the financing. These are partners in an effort to make sure the theme that I articulated at the beginning. We are a city for everybody. And with the most challenge, we want to be a city for them because we have great accessibility programs. We have great programs that Tom Huey's in charge with. In every building that goes up, it's got to be accessible. Our muni transportation system, it's got to be accessible for people to get around. Our parks programs have to be accessible to everyone. And now our housing, with even the most severe barriers for people, have to be more than accessible. They have to be welcoming. So ARC and Mercy, congratulations working with us. Let's keep opening up more of these units. And Doug, next time, let's get ice cream for everybody. Thank you.
All right, so I just heard from Kate that the mayor will be down at Hayden Ashbury at Ben & Jerry's buying. And it's only a couple of blocks away. He'll be there for the next 45 minutes. I agree. Ice cream would have been a good call today. Just a minor correction. The general contractor for this is Cahill, and thank you, Cahill. And Paulette Taggart was the architect. All right. So while I'm on that, I also am looking at Gonzalo Castro, who represented Mercy Housing on this project, and donated these lovely plants. Was out here last weekend with Barbara and others, making sure this site look everything it could do. And Gonzalo, thanks for all that you do. I'll have some more thank yous in a minute, but I just want to say a word about the ARC, which is Mercy and ARC are working on 2 projects. We're completed with 2, and we hope we'll do many more. And part of what was interesting to me is I knew very little about the ARC when Glenn Matola came in to talk with us, and he knew a bunch of the other folks at Mercy from past experience, but I myself hadn't really known that much about the ARC. And Glenn said to me and our board chair, you know, I want you guys to come over to our breakfast. And so Russ Pitto, who's not here, and I walked down, and we went to the ARC breakfast, and we're totally evangelized. I mean, I've never been so moved by an event. I think we both walked out of there a lot poorer, with tears streaming down our eyes at how impressive your mission is. And I feel like our mission's really important, and I feel like it's amazing to run into an organization that has such a profound mission and does it so well and does it so wonderfully. And so with that, I want to introduce Connie Davis, who's the board chair of this incredible organization.
Hi, everyone. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being here and all the distinguished guests. As a citizen of San Francisco, having affordable housing means that we are able to maintain vibrant neighborhoods with cultural, socioeconomic, and diverse populations, which makes our city the one that we love because of all the community it has. Among those diverse citizens are those adults with disabilities who, despite their disabilities, contribute to the workforce, contribute to the cultural landscape, and to their communities. As a longtime board member of a school for children with autism, and now as vice chair of the board of the ARC San Francisco, I can tell you why the people we serve need and appreciate access to affordable housing here in our beloved city, which happens to be one of the most costly real estate markets in the country. Achieving independence is what everyone wants. I know our ARC clients want what we all want: safe housing, work, friends, and to feel like they're valued members of our community. Without affordable housing, they can't establish their own home, they can't establish routines, and they can't be part of communities. They end up having to live with their relatives, or in board and care, or worse, homeless. As a family member of a person with autism, I can tell you why my family appreciates the hard work of Mercy Housing and the ARC San Francisco in making these apartments available to adults with developmental disabilities, and what it means to my son to possibly have this opportunity one day. At almost 30 years old, my son Abe wants what his peers have: to live in his own apartment where he learns to be independent, goes to work with his peers, contributes to his community. He's excited by the fact that maybe one day he will have keys to his own house. He'll be able to cook his own pizza and to have his buddies over to watch the Warriors. They're all simple things that we take for granted, but what makes living as an adult with disabilities a source of great pride. In San Francisco, we literally put the stake in the ground right here at Page and Masonic. We can move forward with independent living for adults with developmental disabilities because we have the expertise, and we should move forward because it's the right thing to do. With this partnership, we've removed the final and biggest barrier to independence for adults with developmental disabilities. Housing is the definition of independence. Home is where we begin our day with coffee and tea and toast. It's where we seek rest at the end of a long work day. It's where we share with family, friends, our celebrations, our cultures, our successes. It's where we sleep with safety and security. We thank everyone who has supported this effort, and we look forward to continued successful collaborations like this one. With our collaboration, I know that home can be a goal for all of the adults in our community with developmental disabilities. Thank you. And I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, who is Mr. Ted Dienstfrei, and he has quite an impressive background. Ted's been a long advocate for housing for people with developmental disabilities, as has been associated with the ARC of San Francisco for many years, and he assisted us in administering a legacy gift from the late Barbara Shupin in support of residential services. He's a former director of the San Francisco Mayor's Office of Housing and former acting director of the San Francisco Public Housing Authority. He presently works at Gerson Baker and Associates, which was formerly a real estate development company and is now a property management company. He co-authored The Economics of Housing Services in Low-Income Neighborhoods, a review of nonprofit housing development corporations, and he received his master's degree in city planning from UC Berkeley. Go Bears! Please welcome Ted to the podium.
As was mentioned, I was director of the Mayor's Office of Housing from 1992 to 1996. And one of my tasks was to go to a number of groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings and to say something appropriate. And I never knew what the appropriate thing to say was. However, 25 years ago, at the first such event, which happened to be a Mercy project in the Mission, I told a story, and if that was appropriate then, it may be appropriate now. When I was young, I was told that the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet all petitioned to be the first letter in the Bible. And the Hebrew Bible begins with the word Bereshit, which means when beginning, and Bereshit begins with the letter Bet, which is the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Now, Bet is the Hebrew word for house. So we were taught that creation began with a house. But it didn't end there. So just as Mercy has created this housing unit, it's now ARC's task to make it into a community. So all the people who worked on this project deserve to be thanked because they worked hard and it's difficult and other people will do that. But I think we should also be pleased that we live in a society that has developed surpluses, some of which go to taxes, and some of that, after a complicated process, goes to funding housing, such as this. Now, it's one building at a time. We should be pleased that we have this building, and we should take the pleasure from this building to go on and build more. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ted. And yeah, there are too many former directors of the Mayor's Office of Housing in this room. I'm not offering to leave. I'm just saying that there are too many of us, at least for Kate's taste, I would guess. So I do want to take this moment and introduce my supervisor, who's also the supervisor for this district. She I think brings a unique combination of passion and intelligence to the work around affordable housing. I think she understands better than virtually, well, I'll just say she understands better than most elected officials. No, I don't want to take down any other elected officials. I don't want to get tweeted about. The president may tweet about me if I do it wrong. I think she understands better than most elected officials really the complex trade-offs that neighborhoods experience when it relates to affordable housing and what we're all trying to achieve in creating a San Francisco that continues to be home to the kind of people that have been here for many years before. And we work with Supervisor Breed on many projects, and I know of her intense passion and her intense leadership. And so I give you the president of our Board of Supervisors and your Supervisor London Breed.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here because, you know, oftentimes when you have a role in approving legislation that helps to get projects done, sometimes it takes a long time to see them happen. And today, I'm so excited to see this project happen. I want to thank the mayor for his support. Thank you, Kate Hartley, for working with us on this particular project. And thank you to Mercy, because you know, Mercy decided to work with us and work creatively with the ARC and come up with what I think is going to be an amazing project. And I have a personal connection to the ARC, and I've worked with them for many years because of my aunt. Some of you who work for ARC know Michelle Brown, also known as Mickey, and she's my aunt. And the ARC was an amazing program that really supported her, nurtured her, cared for her. But also, there were a lot of folks in the community who loved her. And that's what this is about, making sure that there are not only the programs and the resources to support the people who are going to live here, but they are a part of this amazing community here in the Haight-Ashbury. And I am so excited that this building, which was not being used, this building which definitely cost a lot of money to rehab. This building is going to be home for a number of our community members who deserve to live here, who deserve the resources available to them. They can go right around the corner and shop at Haight Street Market. They can go right around the corner and hang out on the Haight. You know, hopefully they'll ignore the request to purchase paraphernalia and other things that exist. But it's the Haight-Ashbury community. So welcome to the neighborhood. I hope you enjoy these beautiful units. And I see Ted Lowenberg from the Haight-Ashbury Improvement Association, one of the organizations that also supported this project. You know, there are a lot of organizations that exist in this particular community, including Faces across the street, which is one of our child care facilities. Everyone came together, Urban and others, and said, you know what, we want this project here. We want to support having this done here, and look at how amazing it is. So many different layers of a community. That's what makes San Francisco such a wonderful and special place to live, because it is a quilt of neighborhoods and people and communities, and it's so beautiful. And today is a beautiful day for an opportunity for housing for those who deserve it the most. Thank you all so much for being here today.
And now I'd like to introduce Jennifer Dresen, Chief of the ARC's Health and Housing Services. Jennifer holds a Master's of Social Work with a concentration in health and a Master's of Public Health with a focus on community health education from UC Berkeley. Go Bears. So many Berkeley grads here. Jennifer has over 20 years of experience with people with developmental disabilities, including job support, supported living, community building in Chicago, and she also worked in England as a case manager for adults with developmental disabilities in Surrey County. She has been with the ARC for 11 years. The Center of Health and Wellness is the perfect place for her interests, education, and experience. Please welcome Jennifer.
Go, Jennifer!
Hi, everyone. I am really excited to be here today for the dedication of this really wonderful ARC Mercy community. You know, the ARC San Francisco had the privilege of partnering with Mercy Housing to be able to develop 17 units for people with developmental disabilities to live independently in San Francisco, which is just amazing. I want to tell you a little bit about the role, one of the roles that the ARC San Francisco had in this process. We did the outreach to the network of providers for people with developmental disabilities. We got the word out that this building with these wonderful apartments was available to sign up for the lottery. We got the word out. We actually had an information session at the ARC so people knew what to expect when applying. We supported 30 people through the application process, which could be kind of a complex process for people with developmental disabilities. Then, for those who were lucky enough to have their lottery number drawn, we helped them get qualified to be able to sign a lease and get keys to their own apartment here.
I'm the lucky one.
And we continue to support folks here. We support 9 individuals total, but we do support everybody in the building. And one of the things we do is we help people be good tenants and good neighbors. And one of the ways we do that is through our services program manager here, Mo Kadir, who's I think out there somewhere, but he lives on site. And we also provide independent living services to individuals. And that looks different for everybody. But what it means is that we help people with whatever they need support in to be a successful person in the community. That might mean they need help with cooking, with banking, with navigating the neighborhood, with shopping, whatever it takes, we're here. The ARC is really excited to have been part of this process, and actually this process informed our work with the other partnership we had with Mercy over at 6th and Howard, which is also another wonderful building. And we really do look forward to future partnerships with Mercy and other organizations to continue to be able to provide units for people to live independently in San Francisco. Thank you.
I just want to echo the supervisor's comments. I want to thank the Haight-Ashbury Improvement Association and Ted and Calvin I didn't see, but Haight-Ashbury Neighborhood Council, the folks from Faces across the street. We have Father Ray Allender here from St. Agnes Church and the Urban School, all of whom really, really made this possible. It's very easy to stop something in San Francisco. It's much harder to make it move forward. And so thank you for all of you who did help it go forward. I also want to thank Glenn Mattoll and Steve Wallace from the ARC and all the other ARC employees. Somewhere hiding out there is Tim Dunn, who is our project manager, many of the folks at Mo, at the ARC, and in other locations live near or around this building. I live pretty far, I don't live pretty far, I live pretty close by. And the person I'm about to bring up is a Larry Ferguson, who's got many connections to this project and to all of us. Larry also, our kids go to school together at Grattan Elementary, just around the corner from here. And Larry and I occasionally stop each other on the way to work and have housing conversations that are very on the way to Muni. And sometimes we have a lot of time. Yeah, I didn't say that, Mr. But Larry has been a force for affordable housing for many years, and I think this is a project that's near and dear to his heart. And he's here representing the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, without whom we would not have this project, because they play such an incredible role, as the mayor said. And it's really, it's too bad that we don't have any current appropriations for rental subsidies for new projects like this, but hopefully more people hear about amazing work like this, and not the construction budget, but the end result, and we'll be a happier society for it. So Larry Ferguson.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Doug. Good afternoon. And it's a wonderful day. It's a hot day, and it's just a beautiful project. I'm delighted and honored to be here representing HUD. And I want to congratulate Mercy Housing, ARC San Francisco, the boards of directors, their hard-working staff who put so much time and energy into this wonderful development. We at HUD are very proud to be partners in this very thoughtful renovation that's created 17 units of affordable housing supportive housing for our developmentally disabled. This community will enable our developmentally disabled residents to live independently, allow them to follow and achieve their dreams. We're also proud of our continuing partnership with Mayor Ed Lee and the awesome housers at the Mayor's Office of Housing. We would like to see more of these as well. HUD has provided a little over $2.3 million in Section 811 supportive housing dollars to help create this wonderful community. HUD's also providing a long-term rental subsidy to keep the rents affordable for everyone who calls this home. Our Section 811 program, I'll talk about it for just a quick sec, has created high-quality housing for over 25 years. And although the construction financing part has been discontinued, sadly, this is one of our last 811 projects coming online in California. We just have a couple others. But I want to focus on the positive side here. There's so many great things to talk about this project, the historic building itself, its design and green and energy efficient features. I could go on, but let's face it, this isn't merely housing, okay? This isn't just about sticks and bricks here. This is what folks call home. It is. This is what folks call community, okay? And this day is a really special day for the residents of Mercy Arc community. And on behalf of HUD, I want to welcome each and every one of the residents to their new homes and their new community. I myself have lived in the Upper Haight for over 23 years. And I really enjoy this area, this neighborhood, its historic charms, its amenities, and I hope that the residents enjoy it as much or more than I do. So I personally want to welcome each of you to my neighborhood, our neighborhood, all right? And to close, there are a few people on the HUD side that I would like to thank, and I'm just going to name them quickly. Alamdar Rostu, Jim Myers, Bill Rogina, G. Lee, and Daryl Mutton. And thank you for hearing what I have to say on behalf of the department. And welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome home. Thanks.
Okay, believe it or not, we're almost through our program here. So a couple of additional thanks. There are many people in the Mayor's Office of Housing to thank about this, but I want to call out Ruby Harris, who's here as our project manager. There she is in the back. Joan McNamara, Marv Rance, and Teresa Yonga, who I think, I don't know if the right word, but helped this project come to be a Mercy project. Midwifed it, something. So, I don't know. We would not be here but for Teresa, so thank you very much. So, also, Lucinda. Where's Lucinda somewhere? Oh, there she is, hiding in the office. Lucinda Haas and Ronaldo Mendez from our management company, Mercy Housing Management, who hopefully are going to take great care of the work here at this building as they do everywhere else. So we do a lot of these buildings. We do a lot of these openings with Bank of America. They are probably, I would say, the most active bank right now in San Francisco in terms of financing and investing in affordable housing. For the last month or so, Ari has been a very busy man, I think, following the mayor and Kate around as we open, or reopen, really, celebrate the reopening of a lot of the public housing buildings that have been renovated around town. And he has done an amazing job, I think, of making the bank an incredible partner, not just to the Mayor's Office of Housing, but to Mercy Housing and all the other affordable housing developers and sponsors in the city. And he's a tremendous partner. And with that, I bring you Ari Belia.
Thank you, Doug. It's an honor to be here today representing Bank of America at this amazing grand opening. So often people say that it takes a village to raise somebody, but in affordable housing, it takes the federal government, the state government, the city government, multiple mayors, a great mayor, a great supervisor, banks, and lots of other people to get things done. But every single part of that loves doing this work. So it's amazing how I'm always placed last, right before the tenant and the food. So I'll take the hint, and I'll try to go quickly. So first, let me thank many of those people. So first of all, the Affordable Housing Mayor, Mayor Lee. I'm very happy to follow you around. It's quite an honor. As well as the OCD staff, the supervisors, HUD, and of course, the great organizations that are developing this project, Mercy Housing as well as ARC. You guys picked great partners to do this work. So, Bank of America supporter of both. Our relationship with Mercy goes back really far. And if you notice, we've done over 46 projects together and over $500 million. So that's absolutely amazing. But Bank of America is really committed to San Francisco. I don't know if you know this, but Bank of America actually got its start in San Francisco as a Bank of Italy, and we've been here all along through the great fires, for the good things and for the bad things. And we are following the mayor around on Asa Farad, where we invested $2.2 billion in financing for that project. But those are big projects. But little projects are also really important because every single unit matters. Every single person who lives in these projects matter, and they deserve a safe and affordable place to call home with great services. So we are happy to do those big projects as well as these small projects where we contributed $8.5 million. And so, the bank invests many things. We invest, the deposits that you give us, and our people invest their time. So we have over 4,000 associates in San Francisco, including Anne Marie back there, who is the person who gets stuff done in the San Francisco office. I apologize for embarrassing you, but I wanted to acknowledge you. And she and many other people contribute over 40,000 hours of community service every year in our communities. So thank you for allowing Bank of America to be part of this. I hope there's going to be many more grand openings. We need every single unit. We need every single building. And thank you to the community who embraced this project and make sure that it went forward.
Okay, we saved the best for last here. So one of the things I look forward to is not saying these kinds of phrases, but there were over 400 applications for the 16 units here, and it was a very restricted set of applications where it wasn't just anybody who could apply. You really had to need this particular type of housing. So, and there are only 44 units of 811 housing in all of San Francisco prior to the work that has been done by Mercy, the ARC, and the Mayor's Office of Housing here and at Bill Soro Community in the South of Market. So we've almost doubled the amount, but it's still an incredibly small resource relative to the need. So if you do run into an elected official, particularly your Congress people or your senators, just let them know how important and wonderful this resource is and that we wish we had more of it. It's not one of those things that we can afford to discontinue the way we're doing. All right, that's my little soapbox. But one of the folks that was lucky enough to move in has offered to say a few words to us. I understand she's a little shy, so I know all of us will be incredibly supportive and welcome her, and we're gonna love to hear whatever you have to say. So with that, one of the newest residents in this neighborhood, Rosetta Burrows. See if I can smart enough to turn this mic off.
Put my glasses on. Okay, get it out. Good afternoon. I'm Rosetta Burrows, and I'm gonna read you a piece of paper. It says, "Welcome to my new home. Visit apartment allowing the presentation
So what are some things that, that you like about your new apartment, Rosie? You like the elevator?
Yes, that's the main thing. The elevator, the elevator. That's a blessing, elevator.
Right.
And then I like my apartment. It's nice and cozy and roomy. And I could get around in my apartment real good. And and thank you everybody for giving me this studio apartment and the art people. I want to thank them too, and you all welcome to my studio apartment. It's on the third floor, and thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Rosie. All right, so that I think concludes our program. I do want to join everyone in saying I want to thank all the residents for welcoming us here today. I'm extremely excited. I'm almost as excited as you are, but I'm not as excited. I don't think there's anyone. That's great. All right. Well, you are making this real for all of us. So thank you very much. And we're gonna give it up again. But there are tours, and I'm looking around to Tim. Where will they start, Tim? Or Mo Kadir, who's in the back, is going to start. Okay, if you'd like to take a tour, Mo's your guy. He's standing outside. And otherwise, enjoy the refreshments, and thanks again for a... Okay, and if you spoke, we want you to come out front and join us for a quick ribbon cutting. Thank you very much.
Smiling picture before we cut. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Nice. Let me do one more in case everybody blinks. Okay, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, you ready to cut? Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1. Woo!
It's going.